I extend a very warm welcome to our guest of honor, Honorable Principal, beloved faculty members, my dear students, and all the participants who gathered here from various corners who have traveled long here to be here today. We deeply appreciate the effort you have made to join us. It is my privilege and great honor to introduce our guest of honor and esteemed speaker, Dr. R. Rajendran sir, who is about to share his expertise and experience in his field. He is a man of virtue, simplicity, and is a living inspiration for many in various institutions. Your passion for the subject was evident and it made a profound impact on everyone here today. Your energy and enthusiasm brought the topic to life. We are very grateful for the inspiration you have provided. We gathered here today to gain insights from a leader whose work inspires so many. His presence here adds immense value to the gathering. We are grateful for the time and effort you have provided. We all know about our guest speaker today. He is a former principal, associate professor, Department of Microbiology, PSG College of Arts and Science, Coimbatore. He has completed over 34 years of service, including teaching, research, administration from 1999 to till date. He also received various awards and honors such as he is the first rank holder and gold medalist. He was awarded with the Chinese Government Scholarship, Best Thesis Award, Academic Excellence Award, Eminent Scientist Award by Textile Research Division, DBT CREST Award, and was awarded Outstanding Teacher in Microbiology for the year 2012 by Indian Association of Applied Microbiologists. He was awarded the prestigious Lifetime Membership Award of Association of Biotechnology and Pharmacy in 2012. He was awarded Tata Innovation Fellowship Award by the Department of Biotechnology, Ministry of Science and Technology in 2013. He also received the prestigious Research Award by University Grants Commission in 2014. He also received Academic Excellence Award on the Awards Day 2015 organized by PSG College of Arts and Science, Coimbatore on 11th of March 2015. He also received Best Research Supervisor Award at GRAPS Award 2015. He also received Sri P.K. Das Memorial Lifetime Achievement Award for the year awarded by Nehru Group of Institutions, Coimbatore. Academic Excellence Award on Awards Day 2016 organized by PSG College of Arts and Science, Coimbatore on 2016. He also received Fulbright Nehru International Administrators Seminar Fellowship under United States India Education. Also received Tamil Nadu Scientist Award in 2018, Sir J.C. Bose Memorial Lifetime Award 2020 by Indian Science Monitor. International Congress on Resonance in Sports Award as Future of Educational Catalyst Award in 2024. He also published over 198 national and international journals, 210 proceedings in national and international conference and seminar, also published 23 book contributions and 24 articles published in leading newspapers. We are incredibly fortunate to have him with us to share his insights and experience. I have no doubt that his words will inspire and challenge us to think in new ways. Please join me in welcoming Dr. R. Rajendran sir as he takes the stage. Thank you.
A very good afternoon to one and all who have assembled in this hall. I know that it is a lunchtime, okay? We are fast approaching the lunchtime, but still, during this lunchtime, I would like to highlight upon this topic of the diet, the microbiota, and the health that is related in the case of your humans as such. Okay. To start with, why did I choose up this topic? Let me give a small preamble and then continue with what is exactly the information which I wanted to convey to you all. Okay. The first thing is, this is a conference where you can find we have a combination of both the microbiologists as well as the nutritionists, and this is not my area of research, but still, addressing the young people, I always have a lot of passion to talk to you, to interact with you, and to deliver something as a senior person, which in turn will be able to give you some sort of your inspiration in the career that you're going to take it up. Okay, so based on this, what I thought is that let me talk about the human microflora, the microbiota, or in other terms, it is also called as microbiome, and how it is related with our dietary patterns, the nutritional system, the lifestyle dietary patterns that you're going to take it up, and how this triangular relationship between this microbiota and the nutritional dietary pattern with that of your health and the diseases that is going to be occurring in them. Okay, so based on this, I thought let me highlight a few of the points with related to this particular area as such. Okay. See, first, you all know that what is a microbiome? Microbiome is nothing but a collection of a genetic pool of the microorganisms which have been normally present in the case of our human system as such. Okay. And this is microbiota is the community. Okay, that is more with that of your genetic aspect. This is more with that of your community aspect, where you can find that there is a lot of diversity. You know that human body, right from the top of your head till your toe, we have millions of microorganisms which are colonizing and which are harboring and which are growing happily in the case of our body, and we live along with that. Okay, so that is what we normally call it as your biota. So you can find that there are 100 trillion type of your microbial diversity, microbial differences that is present in them, which includes your bacteria, the viruses, the protozoa, the fungi, the helminthes, okay, many. But in different parts of the body that is present, you can find there is a variation that is normally seen. So the human genome normally contains only 23,000 genes. But if you look into that of your genomic constitution of these microorganisms, that goes several lakhs and then millions. So you can find that there are 3 million genes that are normally contributed or which have produced thousands of metabolites which replace many of these functions of the host and consequently influencing the host fitness in the phenotype and the health. So you know that nowadays there is a lot of concept that is coming into the existence. What do they call it? நிறைய பேர் வந்து என்ன பண்றாங்க, different type of talk கொடுக்குறாங்க, உணவே மருந்து. Okay, I think you could have heard about it. A lot of people talking in the case of your YouTube, and then a lot of people giving the lectures, and a lot of people who practice yoga, and then the practice of the dietary pattern. They all say that the diet that you eat is the one which decides about your health. The diet that you eat is the one which decides about the microbial flora that is present in the case of your body. Okay. So this is the diversity, the different type of your microbes that are being normally distributed in the case of our human body system. So there are certain parts. Remember that not all the parts in the case of your human body is said to be colonized with microbes. Two areas that you can always classify. Can you say what are these two areas? The sterile area and the non-sterile area in the case of the human body. Okay. And the sterile area is where mainly the blood, the internal vital organs like your heart, the lungs, the liver, and the kidney, and all such type of your areas. Okay. And the non-sterile areas where you can find that the microbes are able to grow, the most important one is your skin. Why? Because that is the one which is exposed to our environment. Okay. Day to day life, you can find that there are different type of microorganisms which are coming across in our system, in our lifestyle. So all this is said to be colonizing. Then there are different type of your openings that is present in the case of our body. What is that? All the openings, your eye, your nose, your mouth, your ears, and the genitourinary tract, all these are said to be the portals. And all these portals are the way in which you can find the microbes normally enter into that of your human system as such. Okay, so that is why you can find there is a different type of your diversity that is present in them. And you know, in microbiology, you will all be learning about the normal flora that is present. Normal flora is said to be the one which we live along, without which you can find that the humans cannot survive at all. Okay, can you find a person who is 100% microbiology free? No. Or who is totally free of microorganisms? It is impossible. Okay, if you want to make a man to be 100% sterile, I can say that I am the most cleanest man. Okay, I have to put the person into autoclave and then autoclave him. Okay, you can make him 100% sterile, but enna what will happen if you put a person into an autoclave and autoclave him? Okay, he'll be 100% sterile, but he will not be live. Okay, that is a condition. But there are different areas, right from the mouth, different type of your microorganisms in ears, and in the case of your nose, in the case of your skin, in the case of your genitourinary tract, there are a lot of variations that is present in them. And all this is collectively used to classify the group of closely related organisms which contain the common type of your genomic DNA sequence. This DNA genomic sequence is the one which we normally call it as the operational taxonomic units, OTU. So there are different type of your OTU in your eye, different type of your OTU in the case of your nose, and then different skin and other parts that is present in the case of our body as such. So 100% you can find that germ-free type of your animals, germ-free type of your human beings is said to be 100% impossible as such. Okay, so this is again statistics which shows that 10 to 100 trillion microbes in the case of your thing. And also you should understand that which is said to be the organ or which is the part of the human body where you can find it is a godown of microorganisms. Can anyone say that? It is the intestine. Why? Because daily we keep gulping, right from morning till evening, you know that we keep eating. Okay, we are breathing. Even in the case of our air, you can find that there are different type of microorganisms that we are entering. And even in the case of our intestine, you can find that there are lots and lots of microbes which happily live in our intestine, but without which you can find that we cannot survive. It is said to be a mutualistic association. They do something for the human body, and the human body also gives them a shelter, gives them oxygen, gives them different type of nutrients so that they are able to easily survive in the case of our intestine. So the gut is said to be the one which we call it as the godown of microorganisms, which contains nearly 10 to 100 trillions of microbes and 3 million gene sequences, which we call it as the OTU. And totally, if you take out all the microbes that is present in the case of our body, it contributes to around 2 kilograms. If you are said to be somewhere little hygienic, if you don't take bath, okay, for at least 2-3 days, and then if you don't clean your teeth, and if you are not hygienic, you can find that this might be even 3 kilograms or 4 kilograms. It might keep increasing. So you can find that we will be able to remove the microorganisms because of the certain type of the practices that we normally do in our body. Okay, so control of all the body functions, you can find that it is said to be mainly done with that. So this is a picture which shows you that which part of the human body is having a lot of microbes to be present in them, and every human body surface which is exposed to the environment, and every body part with an opening into the environment can have a microbiome to be present in that. And these are all the different areas where you can find the external surfaces and the internal surfaces which are endowed with different type of your microbes. Okay, the skin and mucosa, external ear canal, upper respiratory tract, gastrointestinal tract, outer openings of the urethra, external genitalia, vagina, and then the external eyelids, conjunctiva, and all these type of areas where you can find that we will be able to have the microbes to normally colonize, and then they will be able to grow in them. But you know, there is always an interplay. What is that interplay? Our human body, they are able to control these microbes, and then there is always a balance that is going on between the human immunity as well as that of your microbes. And once when the immunity is said to be weaker, what will happen? All these microbes which are growing in the body, what will happen? There will be a situation they will find that, oh, what will யானை அழைச்சிச்சுன்னா என்ன ஆகும்? எலி மேலே ஏறி பார்க்குமா? Okay, so likewise what will happen? Once when the immunity of the whole system is said to be reduced, you can find that these microbes will turn into the pathogens, and then they will start producing the diseases in the case of humans. What are these pathogens called? Any PG student here? Or any third year student? What are these pathogens which convert normal flora converting into a pathogen? Opportunistic pathogens. Good. So such type of your opportunity, when it occurs, you can find that immediately they will get converted into a disease as such. Okay. So these are all again the different type of your microbes which have been distributed in different parts of our body. See, first I am going to talk about these type of your distribution, and then next what is the nutrition, how the nutrition is influencing these type of your microbes, and then finally I will be ending up with that of your diseases which are produced because of these type of your the interventions of the microorganisms. So these are all in respiratory tract. You can find that actinobacteria, firmicutes, proteobacteria, bacteroides, all these have been present in the case of your oral canal. In the case of your mouth, you can find that firmicutes, protobacteria, and then bacteroides, and then actinobacteria, and then fusobacteria. Likewise, this is a good example of the different type of your microbes that are present in different parts of the body. Now you can ask me a question. What is that as? What is happening once when we are growing inside the mother's uterus? Okay, when we are present inside the uterus, garbha graham அப்படினு நாம் சொல்றோம், கர்ப்பம். Okay, where when you are growing there, you know that we are 100% sterile. We are 100% sterile. We do not have any microbes which is entering into that of your growing fetus at all. Who is protecting that? Who is protecting the fetus? What is the important organ that is present in the case of our uterus which protects the baby? What is that? Can anyone say what is the organ? Yes? Good. Placenta. So placenta is said to be a barrier which does not allow any of these microorganisms to enter into that of our body system, especially the fetus, and protects the fetus from that of the other invasions. But still, microbes are much clever. There are few microorganisms which can even cross through this placenta. Placentaing cross பண்ணி they will be able to go and infect the fetus as such. Okay, that leads to different type of your malformations, genetic type of your dispositions that are able to be present in that. Okay, so you have to understand that these are all the distribution, many body compartments, many microbes that is being present in that. And you know, once when the baby is born, delivery, okay, immediately after the delivery, what happens? The baby starts crying. If the baby doesn't cry, you know it is going to be a still baby. So what the doctors will do, even if the baby is not crying, they will take the baby, hang them upside down and give some slap. எதுக்கு? Why do they do that? In order to make the baby to cry. And only when the baby cries, you can find that the first breath that the baby is taking in will be the first inoculum of the microorganisms that enter into the body system. The first inoculum. So எங்கிருந்து வருது? லேபர் தியேட்டர். டாக்டர்ஸ் என்ன பண்றாங்க, அவங்களோட ஏப்ரன்ஸ்ல என்ன இருக்கோ, all these microbes only are first colonizing into our body system. Okay, and from that time onwards, the time when we have the first breathe till we go to our last breathe, you know that we live with microorganisms. Okay, தொட்டில் முதல் சுடுகாடு வரை, we cannot live without these microbial population that is present in our body. Okay, so traditional new perspective, what is the new type of your approach that we are trying to come out with these type of your microbes that is present in the body? We are trying to manipulate, we are trying to change, we are trying to come out with different type of your engineering. Okay, where you can find that how these microbes can be used in our body for the betterment of our health and for the control of the diseases and for increasing the immune system of our body. All this is said to be having a lot of interventions in the case of your modern days. Okay, the expansion of microbial ecosystems, how we can change it, how we will be able to change this microflora that is present. See, for example, you know that if a person is traveling from US, okay, when they are coming from that geographical area into that India, you can find that even if they take a half a tumbler of water, even it might be a sterile water, but still you can find that they will start getting some infection. Why? Because they are microflora which they have accustomed, which they have been growing in the case of your US environment is said to be 100% different. And when they come to our environment, you know that it keeps changing. Okay, and once when this keeps changing, you know that they will not be able to withstand with that, and it leads to different type of your diseases which you know that they get prone to very easily as such. So symbiotic and host relationships, immune recognition, and then surface of the host compartments. Okay, so which part of the body, what type of your microorganisms are normally harboring, how are you going to remove it, or how are you going to modify it, and how these microbes are going to put into that of your betterment, and then how the beneficial effects that is present in these microbes can be made use in the case of your human function as such. So evolving the views, immunology, metabolism, neurology, coevolution. See, you know that all the metabolic functions, most of the diseases, it might be the neurological diseases, physiological diseases, biochemical diseases, anatomical diseases, all these are mainly concerned only with that of the microbial population as such. You know that recently we all had the COVID, okay? And during this COVID period, you can find that every day we get hundreds of messages in our WhatsApp. ஓகே என்ன இருக்கும் எல்லாமே இதை சாப்பிட்டீங்கன்னா இம்யூனிட்டி அதிகமாயிரும், இதை சாப்பிட்டீங்கன்னா நீங்கள் வந்து யூ வில் பி ஏபிள் டு கெட் ரிட் ஆஃப் திஸ் டிசீஸ், யூ eat this fruit, you eat this spice, you eat this type of your fiber content, you take this vegetarian food, you take this non-vegetarian food, all nonsense we had. Okay, but what is the ultimate purpose of all this? How to increase the immune system that is present in our body. So naturally, once when the immune system is said to be increased, you can find that we will be able to have an antiviral effect and suppress the effect that is produced because of this COVID virus as such. Okay, so that is the approach that we have. So what is the type of your relationship that the host and the microbes, you know that both of them are getting benefited. Without microbes, we cannot survive. The microbes cannot survive even without the human body as such. But what is happening after death? After death, you know that that's not going to benefit the human body. Okay, it will start as an opportunistic pathogen, or it will be an opportunistic degrader, and our body itself will start degrading once if it is buried, if it is not burnt. Okay, if our body is buried, then you can find that these microbes are the one which will start degrading our own system, and then it will bring about a different type of your biodegradation mechanisms that is present in the case of our body system. Okay, so this immune balance, absence of the bacteria in the gut. So now how they were able to find out that these are all the functions which have been mediated only by microbes. Okay, they have done several type of your animal studies. For example, you can find in mice they have taken it, and then they have removed these type of your microbes in the case of your mice, which is called as totally germ-free mice. So technically we call that as notobiotic mice. So a notobiotic mice is said to be the one where they will be able to find out what sort of your biochemical changes and what sort of your metabolic disorders that these mice are able to get it because of this change in the case of the microflora. But in humans, you cannot do this trial. So they were able to do it only in the case of your mice, and then they were able to convert that as an in vitro and an in vivo study, that in the case of your how the effect of these microbes are present in the case of your humans as such. Okay, so they are able to bring about an immune imbalance, and then it is ready to bring about these are all the functions that these microbes are able to do in the case of your humans. What is that? They seal the body spaces, they will be able to mitigate the intestinal pathogens, maintain tissue homeostasis, facilitate fermentation, because you know that digestion that is taking place in the case of our body can be done only with the help of microbes, because you know that this the acid, the hydrochloric acid that is secreted and the enzymes that is secreted will not be 100%, they will not be enough for our digestion. Okay, can we eat paper? Why? ஏன் கழுத மத்தன பேப்பர் சாப்பிடுது, நாம் சாப்பிடக்கூடாதா? நாமளும் சாப்பிட்டு பார்க்கலாமே. Why? Come on. See, they have an enzyme system in the microflora that is present in the case of your donkeys. They are able to produce the cellulase enzyme. Okay, and these cellulase enzymes are the one which will be able to digest the cellulosis in the case of your paper, which system is not present in the case of your humans. Okay, நல்ல வேளை இல்லாட்டி என்ன பண்ணுவோம், கிளாஸ்ல வந்து கிழிச்சு சாப்பிட்டே தான் இருப்போம். Okay, we will start eating the papers. பசி ஆயிடுச்சுன்னா இந்த ஒரு வாரம் மணி 12-1 மணியா ஆக போகுது, இன்னி ஒரு வாரம் பேசிட்டே இருக்குன்னு you will keep tearing and then start eating the papers as such. Thank God that we didn't have that capacity to digest the cellulose that is present in our body system. Okay, so critical energy yield, and then metabolic products and therapeutic drug processing, several type of your drugs which is given to that of your human body will be able to act only when the microbes are present in them. I'll talk about this a little later, that why antibiotics, what is the effect of these antibiotics are able to produce in the case of our human flora as such. So you can find that all these type of your acids which have been secreted, and then by fermentation of the food materials is there, like butyrate, acetate, propionate, and all these type of your acids, which in turn aid in the case of our digestion process. Okay. Now we have seen about the general microflora, and I was talking about the godown of microorganisms. Where is that? It is in the case of our gut, and the gut is the one which decides the healthy status of an individual. Okay. Why? Because you can find that all diseases are the one which begin in the case of your gut. Okay. If your gut is not good, you are not good in your health. Okay. If your gut is not good, you can find that you're prone to different type of your diseases that is going to come across. And likewise, health is determined by the microbiota that is present in the case of our gut. So what type of your microbes are there? So அதுக்கு வேண்டி நம்ம என்ன பண்ண முடியும்? You cannot inoculate. Okay. லேப்ல பண்ற மாதிரி நம்ம வயிற்று கழிச்சு ஒரு நல்ல பாக்டீரியா, குட் பாக்டீரியா you cannot inoculate, and then you cannot do it. Okay. Everything can be done only through our mouth. What is the food that you are going to take? What type of your food if you take, you can find that the gut flora will be modified, and the healthy gut flora can be maintained as such. Okay. So this is said to be the gut. And that too, see, once when the food is taken in the case of our mouth contains different type of your enzyme systems, and they also have different type of your microbes which are able to help in the case of your digestion. And then mouth in the case, you can find that sometimes the amylase and then the other type of your enzyme systems which are present in the saliva will help in digestion. Okay. And slowly it enters into that of your esophagus. In esophagus, nothing is there, where you can find that the digestion does not occur, only the movement of the food through the peristaltic movement is taking place. And finally it reaches the stomach. Okay. The food is mainly digested only in the case of your stomach. What is happening in the stomach? What is the component present in the case of your stomach? Yes, HCl. Okay, the hydrochloric acid, which completely digests the food material. And in this HCl, can the microbes survive? Yes or no? No, they cannot survive. But there are certain microorganisms which can withstand this high acidity that is present in the case of your food and in the case of your stomach, and still they will be able to produce all the gastrointestinal pathogens, foodborne pathogens. Okay, all those type of your diseases which we get because of eating unhygienic food, they will all be able to survive in the case of our stomach in the case of this acidity. So you can find that the stomach in duodenum, lactobacilli, streptococci, yeast, and then jejunum, ileum, and then coliform bacteria, streptococci. And why, you know, with this microbiology, we all know that coliform bacteria, why it is called as coliform? What is the reason for that? Because you know that in the intestine, yes, yes, because they are the one which colonize in the case of the colon part of our intestine. Okay, colon is said to be the final area above the rectum, and where you can find that which mixes along with that of the waste material which comes out of your digestion, your fecal material. Okay, that is the reason why your fecal material is said to be having the maximum amount of microbes to be present in the case of our gut. Okay, so these are all the coliform bacteria, and these are the other different type of your bacteria which are normally colonizing in the case of your small intestine, in duodenum, in stomach, and then in the large intestine, in colon, in rectum, and all these areas. Okay. Now a small short story for you all to understand the importance of this gut microflora. What happened was, one day the body parts were fighting with each other. Okay, what was happening in them is that the others had to, who's going to be the most important one. Okay, the brain said, I am the most important part, I am the one who controls the whole part and then whole activities in the case of our body system. Okay, fine. Without, when your brain dead, you're dead. Okay, even other parts of the body, if it is functioning, nothing can be done with that. And next, the heart said, I am the most important, as my beating keeps your body going. Without this beating, a person cannot live. Heart said that I am important. Okay, and the liver said, I am the most important, as I help in metabolism, excretion, and detoxification. You know that. Okay, very important part of this is your liver. And finally the gut said, I am the most important part, I digest, I absorb, I protect, I excrete, I produce hormones, and I reabsorb the nutrients that is present in the case of our nutrient material or your food material. Okay, and everyone, all these organs laughed at gut, and they said that you are one of the godowns and then a dirty part in our body, and you say that you are the one who control the body system. But finally what happened was, the gut got irritated and stopped functioning. Okay, what will happen? Once when the gut is stopped, All other organ systems they have started failing because no nutrients were present in that and nothing were present in that. So within a few days, all other body systems agreed that the most important part in our body system is said to be the gut and the metabolism taking place in the case of our gut as such. Okay. So this is coming to the microflora that is present in the case of your gut, distribution of that. You can find thousands of bacteria, 1,000 different types of your bacteria, and then the 1,000 different types of your gram negative and gram positive, different type of your things which is present. So here you can find that there is a pH gradient that is present and the biomass. And as the acidity is said to be more, the distribution will be less. As it becomes more alkaline, because you can find that right from the mouth till the intestine and the anal part, you can find that different type of your pH is said to be prevailing. Okay, and because of this pH, there is a distribution of these microbes are also said to be varying from one part to another part as such. Okay, and this is microbiota function. They have got different type of your functions like protective functions, structural functions, metabolic functions, which have been normally seen in the case of our body system. Next, you know that. But how does this microbiota in the case of your gut start functioning and how it is colonizing in the case of our gut as such? Who is giving the first flora? As I said, the first breath the baby takes is said to be the one which colonizes in the case of your respiratory tract. Okay, but what is happening in the case of our stomach, in the gut? The first milk that we get from our mother, okay, the breastfeeding, the first milk that the baby takes from that of your mother is said to be the first inoculum. Why? Because it contains lactobacilli, and the first type of your skin flora present in the case of your the breast where the mother is feeding, that is going to give you a flora which colonizes the gut in the case of your baby. So right from that time onwards, you can find that there are different type of your microbes which start colonizing and then growing in them. So you can find that through birth canal, and during the birth also, you can find that we pass through the vagina and come out. And during this passage also, you can find that vagina is said to be another organ where different type of your microbes are harboring. They in turn enter into your nose. The fluid is there. Okay. No other go. All these are said to be the properties which are given by the mother to us. We have to happily accept it. Okay. This is said to be the type of your the relationship, emotional attachment that the babies they have with that of the mother as such. Okay. So all this are said to be the one, the first year of life, the intestinal microbiota composition, and then it keeps fluctuating between the individuals, and then microbial signature stabilizes in 1 to 2 years of life, resembling the final adult pattern. But the first flora that enters into the body from the mother, you know that it is not irradiated at all, it cannot be removed at all. It keeps surviving, multiplying, and then growing in the case of our body till our death. So that is the type of the relationship that we maintain with the mother always, and we should remember the mother because they are the one who has given us the life, they have given us the breath, they have given us the gut, they have given us the gut flora also. Okay, next. And this is how you can find in the case of your mother's milk, what is the composition that is present. You can find they contain the lactose and fat. Lactose and fat are said to be the one where enormous amount of lactobacilli is growing in them. Okay, so human milk oligosaccharides, okay, HMOs it is normally called as, they are the one which will lead to that of your different type of your bacterial flora like Bacteroides and Bifidobacterium. Bifidobacterium is very common in the case of your human milk, which colonizes in the case of your gut as such. Okay, this is the process, the factors. What are the thing? And after that, whatever the diet that the baby is said to be fed, okay, maximum you can find what type of your food that the baby is taking, what is the microflora that is present in the case of this baby is said to be the one which colonizes and which starts developing in the case of your gut as such. See, I always say an example. There are two babies. One baby, you know that it is born in the case of your cherry, and another baby which is born in the case of a very elite family and then brought up only in the case of a very advanced type of your bungalow. The baby is not allowed to even touch the mud. The baby is not allowed to even play in the case of your ground. Okay, very sophisticated growth of the baby is taking place. And another baby, you know that it plays with the big pigs. Okay, it rolls down in the mud, plays in the ditches. You know which baby has got the maximum immunity? The baby which is present in the case of your cherries. Why? Because they are accustomed to different type of your flora. and how it is colonizing in them, and they are the one which will contribute to develop an innate immunity, acquired immunity in the case of our body system, which will make them to come out with different type of the process as such. So mode of delivery, the gestational age, the genetics of the environment. Another thing is that, we should also remember that the genetic makeup. What is that? This is another big என்ன சொத்து, அப்பா கிட்ட இருந்து அம்மா கிட்ட இருந்து நமக்கு கிடைக்கக்கூடிய சொத்து என்ன? The genetic makeup. If they are prone to asthma, that will also come to that of the children. If they are prone to different type of diabetes, that they will be there. There are different type of theory which says that including cancer can also be genetically determined, and you can inherit from that of your parents to that of your offspring that is present. So genetic factor also plays an environment, and the environment that we are growing and the type of antibiotics that we are accustomed to. And this is examples of major bacteria and phyla which are normally predominating in the case of your human gut microbiota. So you know that human gut and human stomach is only one chamber. Okay, what happened to that of your animals? Can you remember what is the type of your chambers present in the case of your animals, especially a cow? What is that animal called? Yes, good, ruminant animals. Okay, ruminant animals which has got 4 type of your stomach chambers, and among these 4 stomach chambers you can find that 4 different type of your microbial flora will be able to colonize in them, and then they will be able to do it, which the humans cannot do it because we have got only a single chamber. Okay, for this single chamber itself, that we keep eating at least 4 or 5 times per day, and then we keep filling our stomach as such. And if you have 5 chambers, that it is always very tough. Already food scarcity is there, the agricultural productivity is less, the population is increasing in India. Okay, very poor condition. So next, so these are all the good bacteria and the bad bacteria which are normally present in the case of our gut and the stomach as such. You can find that good ones include the bifidobacterium, the Escherichia coli, and the lactobacilli. Now you can ask me a question that microbiologists, the basic tool is always E. coli. எங்க போனாலும் எஷ்ரிஷியா கொலை இல்லாமல் எதுவுமே பண்ண முடியாது. என்ன எக்ஸாம்பிள் பைவால கேட்டாலும் என்ன சொல்வீங்க? உடனே ஈ கொலை அப்படிம்பீங்க. ஓகே, everybody is more accustomed to this E. coli, but this E. coli in different forms, different serotypes, different variants of this, enterotoxigenic, enterohemorrhagic, okay, enteroinvasive, like that, different type of your E. coli is there. E. coli can produce even the stomach disorder, it can even produce the respiratory disorders, it can also produce urinary infections, lot of infections that it can produce because of this. Okay, and that can also act as a good bacteria also. Okay, so bad bacteria which include this Campylobacter and Enterococcus faecalis and Clostridium difficile. This among which you can find this the Campylobacter jejuni is said to be the bacteria which is very bad, which is normally the causative agent of the ulcers. The ulcerative stomach normally contains more of this Campylobacter as such. This is what is the function that the gut microbiota normally do to that of your humans. You can find that the gut microbiota provides essential capacities for fermentation of non-digestible substrates. Okay, and then you can find that they also able to ferment with the growth with that of your SCFA, short chained fatty acids, which are present in the case of our food material, which includes the acetate, propionate, and butyrate. Okay, butyrate is the main energy source which are present in the case of your active intestinal gluconeogenesis that is taking place. See, these are all the metabolic reactions which are taking place in the case of your gut, where the microbes are playing a role in bringing about this digestion. Okay, then butyrate and propionate, acetate, and then all other type of your bile acids, and then the hormones which have been secreted, the enzymes that are secreted in the case of our stomach, all this will help in the case of the digestion, where the microbes play a very important role. Okay, and in continuity with this, you can find gut microbiota influences many areas of human health, from innate immunity to appetite and energy metabolism. See, our normal immunity against the different type of your diseases, everything is said to be interrelated only when you're healthy. When do you say that when you're healthy? You can find that your BMI is good, okay, you have a normal metabolism, you have a normal type of your healthy status that is present. How this can be achieved? Only when you take a normal diet. Okay, a nutritional diet that you take only will be able to make this, and this will be in turn helping you to build up your immunity as such. Okay, so immunity, then targeting the gut microbiome with probiotics or dietary fibers benefits human health and could potentially reduce the obesity. And they say that nowadays a disease which is one of the very common diseases in the case of your developing countries is your obesity. And India, you can find that there are a lot of people, at least 25% of the people are said to be obese. Okay, and even in the case of your US, it is still more higher. They say that 40 to 50% of the people are said to be obese. Why? Because it is because the gut flora and then the change in the gut flora which brings about such type of your condition. So what you have to do is that you have to adjust your nutrients, the food that we intake. This food is the one which decides about our different type of your the things like food ingredients, food additives that you take. You know that normally the young people like you're all said to be addicted towards the fast foods, okay, colored foods, chili chicken, chili mushroom, okay, all these type of your things where you had this color, the pigments which have been present in them, artificial pigments, you know that 100% they'll be either carcinogenic or they'll be mutagenic. If they are mutagenic also, they will lead to that of your carcinogenesis. Why is that? Because all this is not said to be the normal diet that we are able to take it up. So it should be considered as a key aspect in the case of nutrition, and fibrous foods, especially the plant-based foods, are the one which are very good for our maintaining a good health as such. So I don't say that you should all become a vegetarian, okay? It is better that you stick on to vegetarian diet for a long time, and occasionally you can take up a non-vegetarian diet. Taking non-vegetarian diet, you know that daily it disturbs our flora in the case of our gut. I'll be talking about it later, okay? So these are all said to be the factors that influence the composition of the functions, the composition and function of the human gut microbiota during the birth mode, in the case of your geographical area, the breastfeeding and diet and all those things. That is why you know that nowadays there is a special campaign that is conducted by all the medical colleges as well as in our nutrition department, and even your nutrition department also should take up this. That is awareness about the breastfeeding. What are the advantages, what the baby will be able to get, and what is the hygienic practices of the breastfeeding. All this should be educated to that of your young people who will be able to take up the messages. Then through that of your diet, exercises, diseases, aging, and then drugs, and then geography from where we are coming out. All these are the factors which influence the different type of your microbiota present in your intestine as such. And you know that first the gut is sterile, the first step, and then the second phase, initial acquisition from that of your vagina and then fecal material in hospital, okay, and breastfeeding or the bottle feeding, this is also there. And you know that why the doctors advise that why should you go for a bottle which is sterile, which is used for feeding the baby, because you know that the bottle should not give out any contamination. It should not be able to spread any sort of your infection to that of your baby as such. But what is happening? You know that still I remember 20 years back, I wrote an article in Dinamalar. Okay, you know what was the title of the article? Sududanni plus Pachatanni is equal to what? Question mark. Sududanni plus Pachatanni is equal to question mark. This was my article. Okay, what is the concept which I wanted to really spread is that எல்லா மதர்ஸ்க்கு வந்து டாக்டர் சொல்றாங்க என்னன்னு, நீங்க வந்து பாட்டிலை நல்லா பாயில் பண்ணி க்ளீன் பண்ணிட்டு பாயில்டு இது வந்து எடுத்து ஆர்டினரியா கூல் பண்ணி அதுல மில்க் ஊற்றி பேபிக்கு ஃபீட் பண்ணுங்க. This is the instruction given by the doctor. Okay, and you know that once when the baby starts crying for milk, only the mother will think about the bottle. Okay, what they will do, immediately they will put டாக்டர் சொன்ன மாதிரி வந்து 15 நிமிஷம் நல்லா கொதிக்கிற தண்ணியில போட்டு நல்லா சூடு பண்ணி இது பண்ணிடுறாங்க. ஆனால் குழந்தை அழுதுட்டு இருக்கேன்னு என்ன பண்ணுவாங்க, எடுத்து உடனே அது வந்து ஒரு ஆர்டினரி வாட்டரில் உள்ள போட்டு கூல் பண்ணுவாங்க. Is it right? Yes or no? Why? Why? Because the ordinary water will again contaminate the whole bottle as such. The concept of boiling, sterilizing the bottle and then giving the milk to that of your baby is totally lost it. Okay, so there are several type of your concepts which the public has to understand. What is the importance of this breastfeeding and then bottle feeding, and then all these type of your microbes and other things will be able to get into it. Okay, and this is geographical location, as I said you. In European country, you know that it takes different type of your work, different type of your gut flora they will have it, because their diet is different, their environment is different, their climate is different. In US it is different, in Australia it is different, in India it is different. But suppose if you are traveling from one country to another country, then only you will find the difference. Okay, the difficulty and the challenge is there is that how are you going to go and get accustomed to that environment? How are you going to get accustomed to that geographical area? Based on that only you can find your gut flora will keep changing as such. And இது என்ன பண்றது? This is what the one which leads to that of a jet lag also. You know, we call that as jet lag. Jet lag is not only physiological jet lag or metabolic jet lag. It is also the gut flora jet lag that we are trying to do it, because they have to change and then they have to get adapted to that of your newer environment in which they are going to take it up. Okay, so what you have to do is that you should try to slowly make your body to understand what is the environment and then change according to the presence in the case of your microbes in the environment. Okay, and the modern lifestyle. So you know that gut microflora, if you want to maintain it perfectly, then the timings of your food also should be perfect. Morning, at what time you are taking your breakfast, at what time you are taking your lunch, at what time you are taking your dinner. Okay, this has to be well planned. And if you suppose if you skip a particular day, once when you skip 100%, you know that they will change the microflora. Sometimes this change, sometimes you know that we go for fasting, one day full fasting, or we are fasting in the morning. Okay, when you do this fasting also, a change in the microflora will normally take place, and this change might be both advantages and disadvantages, and sometimes it might be advantageous, but sometimes it know that it might be harming and it will be producing the disadvantageous reactions which are present in the case of our body system. Okay, you can find that factors that influence this change in the microbiota are water sanitation, what type of your water that you are getting accustomed to, increased performance in the case of your cesarean section. See, in cesarean section you can find that the microflora that is given to that of your baby is less. So this baby will normally have a lower immune system which are born because of the cesarean section. So what they have to do is that they have to expose the baby to different type of your microorganisms and make that baby to develop a good type of your immune system so that they will be able to survive for a longer period of time as such. And decreased breastfeeding, increased hygiene, widespread use of antibacterial soaps and all those things. So you know that நிறைய நம்ம அட்வர்டைஸ்மெண்ட் பார்க்குறோம், இந்த சோப் யூஸ் பண்ணுங்க, இந்த சோப் யூஸ் பண்ணுங்க அப்படின்னு. ஒரு சோப் யூஸ் பண்ண என்ன பண்ணுறாங்க, ஒரு கிளாக் மாதிரி ஒன்று டிக் 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 அப்படின்னு போயிட்டு கடைசியில் வந்து 100% வந்து பாக்டீரியாஸ் ரிமூவ்ட் அப்படின்னு காமிக்கிறாங்க. இஸ் இட் ட்ரூ? You cannot 100% remove the bacteria that is present in the case of our skin. If you do that, then what will happen is that your skin will not be a normal skin. It cannot function. The sebaceous glands cannot secrete. The sweat secretions cannot be normal in the case of our body system. Okay, so what you have to do is that all these type of your fooling advertisements, you should think in terms of scientific nature. What is the microbiological angle? What is the nutrition angle that is present in that? You have to think about it. Okay, next. Now I'm going to talk about the aspect of nutrition. Okay, how this nutrition is going to influence this microbiota. We have seen about the flora and then the involvement of this microbiota, importance of this gut microbiota, and how this is influencing the health as such. Okay, so this is said to be the different type of your fruits, the grains, and then the proteins and the vegetables. Each one will have an effect in making a change in the case of our microbiota. Next. So to enhance the human health through dietary modulation of the gastrointestinal biome, what you have to do is that you should have a triangular type of a relationship where the microbiome, depending upon what type of your food that we take, whether it is a not only nutritious food, okay, what is the type of your biochemical components which have been present in the case of your food, and what is the dietary pattern that you are following in the case of your food, that plays an important role, which leads to that of your health and disease as such. And now comes the concept of this prebiotic and probiotic. Okay, we are now talking about a lot of nutraceuticals, and then we are talking about the prebiotics, probiotics, postbiotics, symbiotics. Okay, all these are nothing but the modifications which are able to do in the case of our body system with the help of the microbial population that is present. So you can find that the dietary amounts of protein and saturated and unsaturated fatty acids and carbohydrates, all this are said to be increasing and modifying the live microorganisms that are present in the case of our food. Probiotics are live bacteria. What are the sources that we take probiotics daily? We take curd. Okay, what curd gives? Curd gives a lot of lactobacilli. Lactobacillus is the one which is nothing but a probiotic which helps in the case of our digestion and then establishing the microbial population in our intestine. Okay, and yogurt, that also gives you a probiotic. You take cheese, that also gives you a probiotic. So different type of your food materials which in turn adds certain type of your probiotics to that. So you know that normally when you go to a doctor, they will prescribe an antibiotic if you have some sort of an infection. But along with the antibiotic, you know that they also give you some sort of your probiotic in the form of lactobacilli, lactobacillus. Have you taken that or not? Most of you should have done it, we do not know it. Now you understand that this lactobacilli is given along with the antibiotic because antibiotic does not differentiate between the pathogenic organism and the common flora. Okay, they kill everything. So the intestine becomes sterile. So we wanted to recolonize and then make the intestine to get the bacteria. For that, what they do, they give this probiotic. Okay, so that's why when you take antibiotics, it is always best that you take more of curd. Curd rice should you be able to take because that will help in recolonizing and making your gut to come back to that of your normal condition as such. Then and postbiotics and probiotic supplementation has got several benefits. Okay, what is this is that we say that the human energy metabolism is there, diet and medication is also said to be there, response to chemotherapy and immunotherapy can be done only with the help of this prebiotic that is being present or probiotic that we give, and glucose response to that of your food, and dietary fiber intake influences gut microbiota composition and is related to that of your better health. These are all the things that we know, but there are certain things which are unanswered. Okay, what are these which are unanswered, which we do not know? Are natural probiotics in the food better than the probiotic supplements? Artificial probiotics are the probiotics we take in the form of your tablet. It is good. Or taking the probiotic in the form of your food. Fermented foods, they contain probiotic. Nowadays they say that even பெரிய ஸ்டார் ஹோட்டலில் போனீங்கன்னா கூட என்ன பண்ணுறாங்க, பழைய சோறு கொடுக்குறாங்க. You know that? And you know a cup of this பழைய சோறு with kanji, okay, it is said to be somewhere around 250 rupees or 300 rupees that they charge in a star hotel. What it does, it gives you the probiotic. It gives you the dietary pattern that is increasing in the case of that natural probiotic. So can microbes influence the food choices and appetite? Yes, sure. What you can do is that you can change your diet so that you will be able to change your microflora also. Low dose of antibiotics in food and effect. So as far as possible, reduce the use of antibiotics. For information, you know that whenever you go to a doctor in US, never they will immediately give you an antibiotic. நாம் என்ன பண்ணுறோம், ஒரு சின்ன ஒரு sneezing இருக்குது and we are able to get out a throat, sore throat or something like that, உடனே அசித்துரை எடுக்கிறோம், we will go for amoxicillin and all those type of your antibiotics. Self medication is most dangerous. Okay, and they are the one which will turn or they will be able to bring about a change in our microflora that is present. So drugs and then the chemicals which have been used in the case of your food and the type of your dietary pattern, the lifestyle that we have, all this is influencing the type of your food. Okay, and now coming to what type of your food is said to be better, plant as well as your dietary fibers, because they are the one which will be able to give you a lot of cellulose, beta glucans, inulin, and then polydextrose, and then soluble corn fiber. All these are said to be the examples which will be able to give you a very good type of your fiber containing diet. Remember, you have to take more of fibers than compared with that of your other components which have been present in the case of your food as such. Okay, and this is a list of what type of your food, dietary element, how it is influencing the microbiome that is present in the case of our body, and what is the health effect that is produced. I think we'll go on to the next. And this is how you know that microbes are able to act upon different type of your diet with the help of enzymes that is present in them, like amylases, cellulases, celluloses, and then different type of your other chemicals that is present in that. Okay, and this is how, see, when you take out a pure vegetarian and a non-vegetarian, okay, and if you analyze the type of your microflora present in the case of your intestine, then you can find that this is the graph that you will be able to obtain. In the case of the plant-based or vegetarian food, you can find the microflora will be stable, okay, and you can find that a common equilibrium will be seen in them. But in the case of your non-vegetarian diet, this equilibrium is said to be totally distorted. And once when this equilibrium is lost, it leads to a condition which we call it as dysbiosis. Okay, next. So this is another thing, when you take more of fibers, how the plant-based diet contains more of fibers, so you can find that the microflora is said to be fluctuating. And then in the animal-based diet, you can find that the good microflora is said to be reducing as such, okay, in fat and protein and all those things. Okay. And systemic influence, what type of your problems that they create once when this disturbance in the case of your microbiota is seen. You can find that they bring about these conditions: cognition in the brain, intestinal diseases, allergies, okay, bone health, malnourishment, obesity, and then insulin, which leads to that of your diabetes, then NAFLD, cancer, and all those things. Next. Now coming to the last part, which I am going to talk about the health. What are the type of your diseases that you will be able to get once in your dysbiosis or the change in the equilibrium of the distribution of this microbiota in your intestine is said to be there. So you can find that when you take the food like proton, okay, proton pump inhibitors, saturated fatty acids, sugars, and then excessive protein consumption, dietary fibers, all these things, if you do it, you can find that they produce these type of your diseases. Like you can find that the increase in the case of your CVD, that is cardiovascular diseases, we'll be seeing about that. And then you can find these are all the different type of your the health status, normal individual, normal dietary pattern. If you have all these type of your flora will be present in the case of your gut as such. So you can find that what are the different type of your health aspects that you will be able to face if you have a normal microflora balance in the case of our body system, which you call it as a perfect symbiotic system, okay, a perfect symbiotic relationship that is present, which will be able to develop both the innate immunity as well as your adaptive immunity. Next. See, they say that the diet decides the microbiota. Microbiota decides even our brain function. They say that if you are able to do a research for an intelligent people, what sort of a microbiota do they have? Okay, for a dull people, what is the type of your, if your IQ is said to be less, what sort of your microbiota that is present in the case of your intestine? If you do a research, you can very clearly understand that the brain function is said to be affected by the microflora that is present in the case of our gut. So you can find that these are all the different types: the food intake, the cognitive behavior, the Parkinson's disease is said to be one of the common causes, the happiness that is present, the happiness index that we normally see, the stress, the social interaction, everything is said to be affected once when the brain function is said to be affected. And how the brain function is said to be affected, that is because of the gut microflora. You can find that the genetics and epigenetics, diet, mode of delivery, environment, drugs, and exercises, all these are the components which change the microflora. And they also have a barrier function, protective function. So you know that whenever any microbe enters into our nose, okay, we get immediately sneezing. The sneezing is said to be good or bad? Yes? Good or bad? Good. Why? Why it is good? It doesn't allow the pathogenic microorganism which are colonizing in your nose and then it will be throwing away. Okay, that is said to be a good function, that is a normal immune reaction that is created in the case of our body. Likewise, you know that we are winking. We have eyelashes, we have got the eyebrows. இதெல்லாம் எதுக்கு? நம்ம மஸ்கரா போட்டு பியூட்டி பண்ணிக்கிறதுக்கும் நம்ம போய் வந்து பியூட்டிஃபை பண்ணிக்கிறதுக்கும் மட்டும்தான் நமக்கு God has created. No, they are the filtering agents. They don't allow the air microflora to there. It will act as an absorbent and it will be able to attach the microbes along with them. So likewise, everything, even the flushing action of your urine. When you go for a urine, you know that the first urine that comes out will be with the flushing action. This flushing action is also said to be the one which removes the microflora that is present in your genital tract. All these are God created natural immunity that is present in the case of our body system. So all these we call it as your barrier effect. Okay, and then there are also different type of your normal the components which have been present in the case of our blood and in the case of our body system which affects that. Okay, and next, dysbiosis. When there is an imbalance between the normal microflora and the pathogenic microflora and the gut microflora, if it is disturbed, it leads to that of your disease. Okay. And this is how the genetic and environmental factors, what actually leads to this dysbiosis, why we are able to disturb our microbiota. This is because of the environmental factors, overgrowth of pathogenic bacteria, inhibition of protective bacteria, translocation of bacteria and bacterial products, immune activation and pro-inflammatory cytokine production, chronic inflammation that is present in them, and concept of a leaky gut. Okay, sometimes if you have ulcers and then if the gut components are getting leaked, they may enter into that of your blood system, and from the blood system it might produce different type of your blood related diseases as such. Okay. And how do you find out what are the symptoms? Suppose if there is a disturbance in the case of your microflora, how you can detect it? Okay, this can be done with the frequent gas, bloating, cramping, urgency in the case of your urination and fecal material. But then you can find anxiety, food sensitivities, and chronic bad breath, and then loose stools, diarrhea, constipation, irritable bowel syndrome, history of prolonged antibiotics. All these type of your symptoms are normally seen. Suppose if you have a imbalance, and then if you are leading to that of your dysbiosis. Okay, so immediately what you have to do is that you have to recolonize and make our gut to come back to that of your normal condition, so that all these diseases can be prevented. Okay, now coming to how this treatment part we will be able to take it up. Finally, you can find that how the normal flora can be re-established in the case of our body system. You can find that they may lead to heart diseases, inflammatory bowel disease, liver, and all these diseases. Next. These are all the malabsorption syndromes, malignancies, inflammatory bowel diseases, and then irritable bowel syndrome, diarrheal diseases, Clostridium difficile infection, all these type of your gut associated diseases, and then mucosal, non-mucosal associated diseases like obesity, malignancy, and then complications of liver cirrhosis, allergic condition, autoimmune disorders, abnormalities of the gut, obesity and other metabolic disorders, chronic fatigue syndrome, and periodontal diseases. All these are commonly present only because of dysbiosis. Okay, these are all some of the examples. We'll just you can see that how the different type of your the mucus associated, and then the brain associated diseases, blood associated diseases, kidney associated diseases, all these are occurring only because of the change in the microflora. Okay, I think you can keep skipping. These are all inflammatory bowel disease, obesity, and then human atherosclerosis. Heart attack is also only because of a change in the gut flora. Why? Because that is because of buildup of the lipids. Okay, and then this lipids will go stay on to that of your capillaries, and then they will be blocking the capillaries, especially in the case of your heart, which leads to that of this the atherosclerosis, where it is also only because of the gut microflora. And these microbiologists, you can understand that how you can detect this, whether you have an imbalance in your microflora. This is done by genomic analysis. Okay, several type of your genomic analysis can be done to find out your microflora is said to be normal or abnormal. Okay, last, this is treatment where probiotics can be given, and then you can find that fecal microbiota. I think recently, not only recently, there is also fecal transplantation. Have you heard about this? Fecal transplantation, especially in the case of patients who suffer from the colorectal cancer. Okay, what do is that they take the fecal material of the other individual who are normal, and then they inject this fecal material into the intestine, into that of your rectal part of the person who is suffering from tumor, cancer as such. So it will be able to re-establish a different type of your gut flora, so that they will be able to even control the tumor development that is taking place in your intestine. So bacteria, engineered that is genetically engineered bacteria can be introduced, and then you can also use that live biotherapeutic products can be produced, which can change the microflora that is present in that. Okay, next. That is, even your lung and then other immune system that is present in the body can be totally associated with that of your change in the microbiome. Okay. This is fecal transplantation, which I was talking about, which was very successful in the animals, and now you know that It is also successful in the case of your humans. I think probably a week back in Hindu, okay, if you are a regular readers of the newspaper Hindu, you can understand that there is a half-a-page report that was given as how successfully this fecal transplant is now used in the treatment of colorectal cancers. Okay. So let me conclude saying that if you want to have a proper type of your health, you have to eat properly. Eat properly in the sense that eat smart. Okay, and if you are able to eat smart, naturally what you can do is that you will also be eating healthy, and if you do this, you will be able to make out a balance between the good bacteria and the bad bacteria present in our intestine and in our body system. So 85% of the good bacteria and then 15 to 20% of the bad bacteria is said to be a normal distribution in the case of our body system. So as an outcome of this lecture, I want everybody to maintain a very good lifestyle, okay, proper dietary pattern, proper eating habit, so that you will be able to maintain a good health, a good type of your microbes that is present in the case of our body system, and lead a hygienic lifestyle. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Rajendran sir, for your insightful presentation on this fascinating topic. We now break for lunch. Kindly proceed to the ground floor where lunch has been arranged for all our attendees in food court. Please return to the auditorium by 2:30 p.m. for the next session.